In order to get started with React Router, first we need a React application. To get one, we will use Create React App. Once we get a success message, we can head over to VS Code and open this application. Let's start the development server to check that everything is all right. There's our app running. Now we need to add React Router to the project. For that, let's get a new terminal window going and install React Router DOM. Now that the React Router DOM package is installed, we can follow instructions and head over here and get React Router working. Let's do a little bit of cleanup here. We don't need that, and we don't need that. We do need a few named exports from React Router DOM. And these would be browser router, root, and link. The link component is going to help us to programmatically change the URL in the browser so that we can then conditionally render some components or others, depending, of course, on the URL. So let's get a link going there. A link takes a to prop. In this case, let's do /about. We get this failed to compile. You should not use link outside of a router. I guess it's fine. We do have a router laying around. Browser router. So let's wrap this link with browser router. Things seem back to working. Let's take it for a drive. And that seems to have worked. Let's create ourselves a few more links. So home is simply / about, contact, home again, back, forward. It seems to be working. All of it, of course, without any network requests actually firing. This is client-side routing. The idea here is that we can have a home component, an about component, and a contact component, and each will render only when the URL is the right one. Let's create those components first. And let's go about the business of conditionally rendering one or the other depending on the URL. For that, we will need the root component. Root takes a path prop, for example, about, and a component prop, for example, about. We are back to compiling. We are not seeing the about component being rendered because the path is not the right one. So let's change to contact. Still, the about component is not rendering. Let's head over to about, and here's our about page. Let's add another root there. And now we can flip between contact page and about page. All of it, of course, client side. No refreshing of the page is happening. No network requests are firing. Every time the URL changes, thanks to the root component, the right piece of UI renders to the screen. Now, what about home? Now, home is interesting in that it always seems to render. This looks pretty good right now. But about and contact are funky in that the home component is getting rendered. That is because this / matches this, but it also matches this and this. All three have / in them. So let's make sure we're more strict by using the exact prop. The home component is gone from the contact page and from the about page, and everything is working as expected. Now, some people prefer to rename the browser router to be simply router, and we can do this like so. Now, of course, we need to consume router instead of browser router, and we are back to working. React Router offers several routers to accommodate different situations, like older browsers or perhaps no browser at all. The router can be placed anywhere, and it only needs to be placed one for a given React application. Some people like to wrap the whole thing with the browser router. Bring in React Router. We don't need the root and we don't need the link in this scenario. And now let's wrap the whole application with our router. And everything is back to working. And this is the setup of a basic React Router application.